I wouldn't recommend listening to this alone. Many viewers miss the real horror by leaving early. Stay till the end, if you dare. I have always loved New Year's Eve. Fireworks, crowded streets, laughter echoing through neighborhoods, everything felt alive. But the New Year's Eve of 2021 is the night I can never forget, the night I stopped celebrating forever. My name is Ryan, and what happened to me happened in a small rental cabin on the outskirts of Pine Ridge Forest, a place famous for one thing: silence. The trip that shouldn't have happened. My friends, Daniel and Chris, forced me to go on a quiet New Year trip. Just three of us, no city noise, no fancy parties, they insisted. The cabin belonged to Daniel's uncle, unused for years. The moment we reached there, I realized something felt wrong. The trees surrounding the cabin seemed unusually tall, and the air felt colder than it should have been. Even the snow on the ground looked untouched, like no one had stepped there for decades. Inside the cabin, everything looked old but clean. The living room had a large window facing the forest. A fireplace sat in one corner, still stacked with wood. But the most unsettling thing, on the wall, above the fireplace, was an old photo frame. In it stood four people wearing New Year hats, smiling for the camera. But all their faces were blurred out, like someone had rubbed the faces with sandpaper. Why would someone keep a ruined photo on the wall? I asked. Daniel shrugged. My uncle didn't tell me anything. Maybe it's just old. I didn't believe that. The first warning. After dinner, Chris found something strange under the table, a rusty handbell, the kind used by church priests. Attached to it was a note. Ring only if they knock. Chris laughed. Bro, someone is messing with us. But I didn't laugh, because the handwriting on the note looked shaky, like it was written by someone whose hands were trembling in fear. We started setting up for the night. Daniel took the couch, Chris the bedroom, and I ended up with a sleeping bag near the window. Outside, the forest was silent. Too silent. By 11:20 p.m., the three of us gathered around the fireplace, playing cards and waiting for midnight. The laughter helped, but somewhere deep inside, I could feel tension building, like the air itself was holding its breath. At exactly 11:47 p.m., the power went out. Everything turned black. Relax, Daniel said. Old cabin. Fuse problem. But before he could even reach for his phone's flashlight, we heard it. A knock. From the front door. Not loud, not soft. Just a single, slow, deliberate knock. Knock. We froze. Daniel whispered, maybe someone from the area. Are you insane? Chris answered. This cabin is miles away from any house. No one moved. None of us even breathed properly. Then again, knock. This time, slower. My hands started shaking. The note flashed in my mind. Ring only if they knock. Without thinking, I grabbed the rusty bell. Daniel grabbed my wrist. Don't ring that thing. It might be a prank. But before I could respond, the third knock came. Hard, violent, not human. Boom, boom, boom. The whole door shook. Daniel stepped back in fear. What the hell is that? That was enough for me. I rang the bell. The sound wasn't loud, but the moment it echoed through the cabin, the knocking stopped. Completely. As if whatever was on the other side had vanished. We waited for several seconds, listening. Nothing. Chris whispered, Bro, what if the bell actually worked? I wanted to say it was nonsense. I wanted to say it was coincidence. But deep down, I didn't believe that. The face at the window. At 11:59 p.m., the most horrifying moment of my life unfolded. I glanced toward the window near the sleeping bag, and my heart nearly burst. A face. Pressed against the glass. Not a human face. Its skin was pale white. stretched thin like old parchment. Its mouth was too wide, reaching almost to its ears. And its eyes, black, hollow pits, stared directly at me. I screamed. Daniel and Chris rushed toward me, but by the time they turned to the window, the face had disappeared. Chris shouted, "We need to get out, now." But the moment he touched the door handle, it turned ice cold. Frost formed on his fingers. We backed away. The bell in my hand began to tremble on its own, tiny vibrations running through the metal. Then fireworks exploded in the distance. Midnight. 12 a.m., the entity enters. Fireworks lit up the sky, flashes of color reflecting through the window. But between two bursts of light, I saw it. Standing inside the room, tall, shadow thin, its head tilted unnaturally sideways. No footprints, no sound. It simply appeared. Daniel whispered, "Don't move." But the thing moved. Fast. It rushed toward Chris, its fingers stretching like long black branches. Chris screamed as it grabbed his shoulders, its mouth opening wide, wider, wider, far beyond anything humanly possible. I rang the bell again, desperately. The creature froze. Its head twisted toward me. Then it vanished. Just like smoke. Chris fell to the floor, gasping for breath. His eyes were filled with terror. Whatever that was, it wasn't human, he whispered. The cabin's secret. Once Chris recovered, we grabbed our bags and ran into the forest. We didn't care about the snow, the cold, the distance. Anywhere was safer than that cabin. After nearly 30 minutes of running, we reached a small ranger station. The old forest ranger looked at us like he had seen this before. "You stayed in that cabin?" he asked. We nodded. The ranger sighed heavily. "Every New Year's Eve, something knocks on that door. The family in that old photo, they vanished on New Year's night 1999. When people tried searching the cabin, they only found that bell. Nothing else." My heart dropped. "What happens if someone doesn't ring the bell?" I asked. The ranger's face turned pale. "No one has ever lived long enough to tell." The aftermath. We returned to the cabin in daylight, with the ranger. The door was perfectly intact, no damage. The snow outside showed no footprints. Not ours. Not anything else's. Inside, everything looked exactly the same. Except the photo above the fireplace. There were now 5 people in it. And the 5th figure, blurred like the others, stood slightly behind the group. Its shape matching exactly the thing I saw at the window. The ranger immediately removed the photo and took it away, warning us never to return. We didn't argue. We left Pine Ridge Forest without looking back. But the story didn't end there. Every New Year's Eve since that night, at exactly 11:47 p.m., I hear it, a knock. Not on my door, not on my window, but inside my head. Knock. A slow, deliberate reminder that it hasn't forgotten me. And I know, one day, it will stop knocking, and open the door instead. If this story stayed in your mind longer than it should, leave a like, subscribe to Grim Wave, and tell me in the comments what part disturbed you the most.